So you guys can ask for this recording and we'll give it to you to kind of look at and review later. Show the rest of your team. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is the latest version of Salez Toolz. We refer to this as the main grid. This area where all the packages are represented by these icons. We've been adding hundreds of new icons, you guys. Like for instance, you'll see here this new one for a dual voice coil. So you see how it has two drivers? Those are when you have a single stereo speaker. So we're using that icon to represent that type of speaker. These are regular speakers. That's a dual voice coil speaker. That's a subwoofer. Over here is a switcher, touchscreens, iPad apps, remotes. You get it. So basically, this is our main grid. Up here is our title bar. That's where you put in your company name. Not uncommon when you're presenting for a builder. You might put the builder's name up there just to kind of keep that branding going. You might swap out your logo. Everybody always asks me, how do I change my logo? If this is true on the iPad or the PC, you just go up and click on it. On the iPad, you touch it. On the PC, you click on it. I can then go up and grab any logo I want and change it out. So you guys can change these on the fly. So keep that in mind. Okay, so if you want to change your logo, we'll do it there. Next thing we do is we go down here to our company info. So when you're setting up this is where you put in your company name. So if I go up there and I call this my company name, and then I bring it down here, you can see it's changed up there in the title bar to my company name. So now we're current. Down here is my contract terms and agreements. So in here, I'm able to go through and just copy and paste, you guys. Something else you're going to notice, and this is in the new version now, not in your current version, the new one comes out. You're going to basically see how we can put these little pound signs at the end of each of the header bars. That's going to cause that header to turn to a different color, create a line to the side, and you'll see this when I bring up the contrast. But be aware, just put a pound sign at the front and the back of that line. Be careful not to use pound symbols anywhere else in this contract. It's going to cause all kinds of issues. Only use the pound sign right here. It's going to cause that line to look different. Okay, so make sure you enter in all your company information. This information will show up on the bid. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. The next thing is I'm going to go up here to my client info. So when you guys first meet with your customer, you can go ahead and type in all their information. Unless you're lazy like me, and I happen to have a V card. This is an Outlook V card. You see them all the time. You get them in email. So I'm going to go up there and grab that. Poof, I'm done. So I could also export this as a V card. If I want to save this information to send it to somebody else, I can do that. So we use V cards. It makes it very easy for you to share data. Our hope is once you've entered it the first time, you never have to enter it again. Okay, so go ahead and just cancel out of that. So we have that saved. The next thing you guys will go up here is to our adjustments. Adjustments are really important. Okay, they are basically any kind of a discount. Part of the reason we broke out our labor and equipment to be different columns is so you could do your taxes and adjustments. So if I'm in New Jersey, I'm doing a 7%. Whoops, I'm going to go up there and do that as a percentage. I'm doing a 7% tax on equipment. I'm doing a green tax on equipment, and that's a flat rate, meaning I'm only going to charge that much. I'm going to charge 250 bucks. I have 5 TVs, 50 bucks each. It's my green tax. Whatever it is, if there are things that are just a flat tax, it might be for permits. So if you know every time you do a job in a certain area, you have to pay so much in a permit, you can put that permit charge in and show it to the client so they know you're charging them for the permits. You can have as many of these taxes as you need. I mean, if you're in California, you might need a lot. No, if you're in Texas, you might need like one. So it just depends on your market. You guys figure out what's going to work best for you. Okay, so now I have those 3 taxes. You can name those taxes anything you want. So maybe I call that my city tax. So there, so I now create those taxes. Up here, I'm giving my customer a keypad. So this is my free security keypad, and I named it that. And this down here is my retrofit labor. I had to increase my labor because this is going to be a nasty job, going to cause me to spend a little more. I don't want to increase everything. I just want to increase the cost of my labor. So that's why we broke that out. This only affects labor. This only affects equipment. Okay, questions on that? Nope, you guys are doing good. Okay, now we go down here to the next one, comments. You guys, this is by far one of the most popular features of the software. Once you start using this, it's where you keep all of your comments. The global comment up in that menu bar is for global. You know, I'll go up there, I'm going to put in gate code. So there's my gate code. Those are comments that don't respond to any one thing. They're overall to the job. Other comments, let's say right now I'm in AV head end. I'm going to scroll up here, distribute AV control 4. I'm going to select my controller and I'm going to go 1. And down here is the comment. This comment is tied exactly to that package. So it's located in that location. We don't call them rooms. Most people do, but they're actually locations because that AV head end is kind of a location inside of a room. It's just a cabinet in the living room. So you can see over here, I'm under the location called AV head end. I'm under the system called distribute AV control 4, and this pertains to that controller. So the comment I'm going to put here is, I'm going to say, all control 4 gear on left side rack. I'm going to have 2 racks in a small cabinet, but put all that in the left. Now these are little notes, but they start adding up really fast. I'm going to go in here and add in my 8-channel amp. And again, I can add in more comments. And as you see, they actually assign location, system, package, and it shows my quantity. Very straightforward. So you guys keep that in mind. Start thinking about how you're going to build your systems. Okay? However you have these rooms set up in the order is how your reports are going to turn out. So if I decide that I want the AV head end to be first, it's first. If I decide that I want the theater to be first, I can make the theater first. You guys can decide what you want to show first. It's always going to be by room. It's going to be by system. There are reports that'll show you just systems. There's all kinds of reports, but they're just parsing the information in different ways. Same data, just listed out. Oh, we have a question here. Are you recording this? Where can we find recording training webinars? Yes. Send us an email and we'll send you the link to download this. So please just contact info@saleztools.com and I will put that out right now. Info@saleztools.com. Send to all. Can the quantity be centered? Quantity centered up here, do you mean this quantity amount? Because you have quantity in your left and then you have the amount over there. Can the quantity number be centered? No, that's just where it is. It's just a field. So it's going to be on the left-hand side, so it's left justified. So, okay, guys, so like I said, hopefully that helps. All right, so now I've gone through and I've placed my 2 control systems. So now I'm going to go down to my security head end, and the same thing is there. I'm going to go to my next system in my next location. I'm going to place a security panel. You guys, and again, this is what's really important here. We aren't trying to design this from scratch. You should have already engineered your security panel. If you know what it takes to build a panel, do you have your power supply in there? Do you have your panel? Do you have your board? You also add in all the programming to set that panel up. You try to associate this, so these systems should be pre-engineered. What you're doing is not engineering, you're designing. You already have building blocks that you have put together. These security panels are building blocks. These keypads are building blocks. They already have the wiring, the programming, the beanies, whatever you need for this thing to be finished out is built in. So you pre-engineer your packages. If you're trying to engineer in the field, you're going to get screwed. You're going to forget something. But if you've sold these things over and over, which you probably have, it's not that hard. So if we go here to the front entry and I add in the security keypad, just one of them, then I'm going to go up here and put in a door contact. What's also happening here is my customer with door contact. What do you mean? Well, she has a little magnetic device here. They have a reed switch. They get mounted on your door. If anybody opens that door, the alarm goes off. Oh, okay. You're educating your customer. You're not going into high detail with all kinds of numbers and real deep information. Very simple, high-level data, enough for a customer to say yes. And that's really important. Sometimes we tend to confuse our customers. Don't do that. You want to make these guys understand what they're getting. Same thing is true here of window contacts. So you guys start thinking about how you put these together. it doesn't matter how big the house is or how small, we can adjust our labor to pick up a bigger house. We can cover those costs. But the cost to install a security window contact or door contact is pretty much the same across the board. So stop thinking too hard about this. And remember, this is my first meeting. What I want to find out is this bottom line number. How much does this customer want to spend? Okay, so we're going to go down here to the next thing, and we're going to go into company info. You guys have all this entered in. It's all set up. I want to make sure you guys have done that. I'm going to close out of that. Now we're going to go down to load data. And load data is where we choose from our different data sets. So Mindy, I see you're in there, and I'm going to grab your data set, pre-wire of El Paso, right here, because I want you to specifically see what we're doing. I think you're going to all learn from what we're doing here with Mindy, you guys, because she was thrown to this meeting to do all this big work that her boss has set up, and now she has to figure out how to do it. So Mindy, what you're going to see here is this screen. What we created for you guys were these custom shapes. So we're showing that you guys sell 4 surround sound speakers. You're not selling a 5.1. You're selling the first 4 speakers, and this little icon graphic shows that. We're showing 4 speakers. They could be in wall, they could be in ceiling, whatever it is, but the concept is 4 speakers. So we add one of those in. Okay, that includes the wire. That includes the labor to install the wire. Okay, the next thing is we're going to sell them a center channel. So right here, this is the center channel. So that's how we get to our 5 on a surround sound. Now we want our .1. We're going to pre-wire for a subwoofer. So that gives us our 5.1. We could also have bundled this and made just a 5.1 pre-wire package and have it all done complete. So it's going to be kind of what we decide to do, but because you guys sold so many upgrades in that, it made more sense to do this. I am going to talk to Stephen about adding in a 5.1 and 7.1, but right now, this works. So once the customer and or the builder have signed off on the pre-wire, you can come back in after the fact and then sell them the speakers. So you have all these speakers that you can sell them. So we try to make this very easy. Okay, so you guys, you can see here we have the remote controls. The customer can decide to buy the speakers, the remote. They can buy all kinds of different things in here. Distributed audio, same thing. Over here we've created a pre-engineered package, that is the speakers and the volume control. So we're pre-wiring for that location and the 2 speakers. So you can see how simple it is. Over here we're pre-wiring for a dual voice coil location. That's going to have 2 runs, left and right, both run to 1 speaker. So start thinking about this, you guys. We're creating all these new graphics and images for pre-wires. You guys can then decide which ones do you sell. Okay, so we're going to make these available to you, this part of it at least, for no charge. A lot of these basic shapes are just going to be coming in the software. So any questions so far? Is that helping, I hope, Mindy? So now you look at this, and this is what you sell. So if you were to go to your normal spreadsheet that they use with the builders, we have taken that spreadsheet and laid it out in this nice graphical interface so the customer can kind of understand what they're buying. I mean, right here I'm showing them if they're going to buy some outdoor speakers, they need direct bury wire, because outdoor speakers, the wire has to get buried in the ground. Oh, okay, that's going to cost you more. Got it. So keep that in mind. Let's jump in the back end now so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So if I click on the menu and you access the menu from these 3 little bars up here, we call that a hamburger menu. Okay. When will this version of the software be available? I would say by Monday. So I know you guys, it's close. It's working beautifully. Everything's done. I'm just waiting for the iPad app to get a couple little upgrades, which should be done, and then we're going to release it. So I would say Monday at the latest. It probably will come out over the weekend. Let's just say Monday. So there's no charge. If you guys are paying your monthly, if you're signed up with us for our $29.95 service per month, all upgrades are included. So now let's go ahead and go back in here. We go to our menu. We go to System. So now I'm going to go to this screen. So what you're looking at here is distributed audio. So I'm going to go to distributed audio right here. And this shows all those packages. So Mindy, what Stephen's going to have you do, you can see our price over here is $210 for a premium speaker pre-wire. Really, that's probably going to be more like $25 in labor. There isn't going to be any programming on these speakers, right? But there is going to be equipment. So maybe the labor and wire, rather, is going to be $50. So I'm going to put in 50. So now I just changed that price out to 75. So what you have to do, Mindy, is simply go into here and change out these prices. So 25 again, and this is the equipment, but now my cost on this one might be 35 because we're using cheaper wire. So our premium is 75, our standard is 60. That's all you have to do, Mindy. Just go in here and just change out your pricing. When things include programming, let's take a look at something that might. So if I go up here and I'm going to grab this door contact, you can see we have no pricing in here. So a door contact, let's say my cost to wire that is going to be $25 in labor. My programming cost, I'm going to put $10 on there to program it into my security panel. And my equipment cost is going to be $15. Okay, so now for me to wire that door contact, I'm charging 50 bucks. That's how we break it out. The first column is your install labor. Second column is programming and design. Third column is equipment, total equipment. Not just the hard cost, not just door contact. That includes the wire, the beanies, whatever else you've included. That's the total cost of equipment. The reason being is we can charge tax on that or not. We can charge tax and or discounts against the labor. That's why we broke these out. So if I go to my window contact, I'm thinking it's going to be pretty close to the same price. So it's pretty much the same devices. 15 bucks, $50 again. So this will be your job, me, to go through and simply add in labor 1 for install labor, labor 2 for programming, labor 3 for or equipment for total there. That gives you what you need. You start to build your data. So just take your existing price list, and right now it may just show 50 bucks. So you're going to have to get with somebody and say, well, at $50, how much of that is labor? How much of that is programming? How much of that is equipment? Once you understand the breakout, you'll be able to go through and do all these products pretty quickly. So it's going to take a little time for some of you guys, but start thinking about, how do I sell these things? So if I go down here to this carbon monoxide piece, okay, so again, my labor to wire this thing up is 25 bucks. My programming labor is going to be 10 bucks again. It's not that big of a deal, but this is going to include the actual sensor itself. So maybe the sensor and all that is 130 bucks. Okay, so now I have $165. That's my package. That's what Salez Toolz is selling, is that 165. This back-end data is just for you to handle adjustments and taxes. So all we care about is that 165 on the front end. And if you have to add any new packages, maybe Steven's added some new things into the data. So I'm going to go up here and add in that. And what you're going to see is I'm adding new packages right up here. So I'm actually in the security screen. So I'm going to go down here to security life safety. And these are my 2 new packages. I go back up here. I go into systems. I go to security life safety. So now you can see I've added those packages. Watch what happens when I add one more. You'll see a little arrow show up right down there. I'm going to add another one, and another, and another. Okay, so those packages are there. They're just not showing up because they're below the line. I can scroll. I can have 20 or 30 packages deep. I don't recommend it, but what happens a lot is you might keep things below the line. It may not be the first thing you want to sell. You kind of keep it in your back pocket in case the customer, that's too expensive, that's too expensive, that's too expensive. Well, I have something down here that may be perfect for you. So it gives you the ability to have a lot of options without showing everything at once. You want to keep your customer focused on what you're going to make the most money on, what you think is the best value. You're a salesperson. You want to sell these guys something good. If you give them always the cheapest things first, that might be what they buy. What we're showing them right now is they have good, better, best, and a few more options. Over here, we have other things we can add in. Wireless security, right? We can add in zone expanders. We have all these products. We can build a custom system, and as we do that, the price goes up over here. So if I add in the door contact, garage door, mind you, I wouldn't do that under the front entry, but you kind of get the idea here. Okay, so we're going to go into the back end again. I'm going to go into my systems, go into security, and now I'm going to change out these packages, so I'm putting icons on them. You guys, and this is exactly how easy it is. So first you add a bunch of packages. Doesn't really matter, just add as many as you think you're going to need. The first time you open up these icons, they have to load, and we have so many new icons. We're well over 1,600 icons now and growing. And you can see we have things like 240 outlets. We have 911 for pendants. We have access control, air conditioning, wireless access points. We have motorized blinds. We have bows, cameras, electrical, security. I mean, any number of things, lighting control, LED light fixtures, light switches, locks. You guys can decide, matrix switches. These are network switches. There's outlets. There's dedicated outlets, dedicated isolated outlets. There's GFI outlets. You can see there's lots of different things in here that can pretty much fit anything you're selling. And if there's something in here that you need that you can't find, you let us know and we can probably create that icon. We're not going to create custom icons for every little thing. But for instance, what you're looking at here is whenever you see that little wire shape with an icon, that's a pre-wire. So I'm pre-wiring for a center channel or sound bar. I'm pre-wiring for a volume control. I'm pre-wiring for a TV. So we have all these great shapes that allow you to go through there and pre-wire with things. Here's racks. There's custom faceplates, light cams, remote controls. My favorite little R2D2 is for home automation. There's routers. There's satellite. There's Savant. There's movies. There's screens. There's lots of things in here you guys can draw from. So if I decide I'm going to do a screen innovation something or other, I added that in. Then if I want to put in alarm.com, I added that in. So you guys, I added these packages that quick. I'm going to give this package of a 133-inch screen. I'm going to go up there. Custom home theater screen. Now my labor to install that, I'm charging $200. There's going to be a lot of, I'm going to load this up in my truck, get out the job site, unload it, break it down, put it together, mount it on the wall, run power to it. There's some labor involved. Next, my programming labor. I'm going to program some of the remote, the projector. There's going to be some programming labor. I'm putting $100 on it. And the screen itself, well, it's a really nice screen. So it's $6,000 with all the parts and pieces. So that's now a $6,300 screen. So that fast, I built that. And the way you guys can figure this out is look at your last 10, 20 bids. Decide what you've already sold, reference that to build these packages. Once you understand how these packages come together, you're going to build these pre-engineered systems and you're going to put those together to create things you want. We are right now working on a new data set that we call Theater Builder, and it's going to take systems like, and I'm going to go ahead and load up another data set here. Remember, you guys, you can have as many data sets as you want. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to grab, let me see, I think systems integration right there. So inside of here, I have Sonos. So if I want to sell somebody a Play 1, even though that Play 1 might be $199, I got $100 on it. I have to program it. Maybe I'm tying it into a Control 4 system, an RTI, whatever it is. I'm going to be tying this into something. I'm putting labor on it. Nothing we sell, you guys. You always have to understand the concept. We sell packages. People say, well, I don't. If you sell a door contact, if you sell a speaker, it's a package. Because that speaker is going to include a bracket. It's going to include wires. It's going to include labor. There's going to be all kinds of things that you don't even think about that you're not, maybe not charging for the way you should. Everything we sell is a package. If you're not selling package, then you're a retailer. Because someone's just coming into a building, they're buying something off the shelf, and they're giving you money, and you do nothing. If you're not doing that, what you're selling is a package. So keep that in mind. Everything we do is at some form or another a package. So now if we go down here, we have Epson projectors. So now what I'm going to be doing is we have a brand new data set coming out called Theater Builder. And I'm going to show you Theater Builder. But first, I'm going to go in here and show you how we're going to build this. Because this is such a great function. I go down here to Epson projectors. I'm going to export this system. And I'm going to go into here and I'm going to go Epson, save. Now I'm going to go up and load up a different data set. I go up here, load data. I go down here to Theater Builder. And this will be the new Theater Builder. So right here, I'm going to have all these Epson projectors listed out so I can choose a projector. I can choose a screen. I can choose a TV. Because let's face it, guys, you might be doing a media room. You're not selling projector and screen. You're selling a TV. Maybe you're selling all three. Maybe you're only selling, two or one. You're going to pick your receiver. You're going to pick your touchscreen. You're going to pick your remote. So you can see right here, I can have any different variation of touchscreens, iPad remotes, whatever it is, you can build it. Over here, I can give all my subwoofers. So I can go through with a customer into any size room, from a master bedroom to a dedicated theater, and build a theater from $1,000 to $1 million based on what you have in here. You'll simply pick the equipment. I'm going to use this projector with this screen. I'm going to have a TV behind the screen for the normal days when it's all lit out. I don't want to go through this hassle of a big screen. I'm going to choose a remote control, and I'm going to get an app. So I'm going to have two in one room. I'm going to have two subwoofers. I'm going to go for this really nice Metra HDMI wiring. I'm going to put in a nice true audio cabinet and rack. So you can see where we're going to have all these different systems for you to build these out. So you guys keep in mind, that's how you build things. Then over here, if we're not going to go with theater builders, some people want to buy that outfit. They walk into a clothing store and they buy the outfit on the mannequin. Think of this as the outfit on the mannequin. It's pre-built. Everything's already in there. The speakers, the TV, the wire, the remote, it's just one big system. And the customer says, I want that. Okay, I'm going to grab that. But then they go, Mark, but I hate touchscreens. And that has a touchscreen, doesn't it? Well, yeah, it does. Tell you what, though, let's take that touchscreen out. How do we do that? We just took it out. It's gone now, and let's put in a remote. So now you go back to the office. It's going to reflect in the report that you took out the touchscreen and you put in the remote. Guys, that's really simple. So even though you've built these big packages, because you have these other items here, you can add remotes, you can add subwoofers, you can take stuff out, you can get a bigger rack, you can build a completely custom system, but you're basing it on something you've already built. So there's my big Astor Theater. Down here is my family room. So you guys can decide what it is you want to do. Questions so far? That's making sense. So you guys, now we're up here and we're at $29,000. I'm going to go up here to client info. I'm going to import data again. We'd like to have some data showing up. So grab that V card. The customer goes, Mark, how did you get to $29,000? Let's look. So right here they can see, oh, okay, because I bought a $30,000 theater. You took out just under $2,000. You put back in almost $1,000. That's how I get to $2,900. Okay, that seems simple enough. Let's go ahead and do it. We go up to our report. We go create. You guys, some of these features in here are new. This select all is a new feature. Before this, you had to select one of these at a time, because usually you want them all or you don't. Okay, so then I go up to my reports. We have three different types of reports. Client reports are forward-facing. The customer is supposed to see them. So if I go up here and grab report 1, there's my customer's information. That would be your logo right there. There's your company information. There it is again at the header bar. Here's what they bought. I'm giving them a security keypad for free, even though I'm not selling them security. I'm giving them retrofit labor, so I'm adding the price of $1,290. I got my Jersey tax. I got a green tax and a city tax, all built in. Down here is my contract. So you can see how that pound made this different. It made it blue and added that line to the end. So everything else is normal and black. All looks good. Customer likes it. Down here is my payment schedule. I have a 3-payment schedule. They pay half down upon acceptance, this much due at significant completion, and this much at final retention. And I'm doing this on a PC, you guys, so I can sign not just on the iPad, but on the PC, Mac, and iPad. Over here, it shows me my first payment. It's all automated. These are my comments. So as we went through and created these comments, we added these in. We tried to make this simple. So questions on that? Oh, let's see here. In Theater Builder, are you keeping track of small items like cables, connectors, balance? Yeah, absolutely, because what you're going to do when you say keeping track, those should be built in. I mean, if you have a projector and you're using a balance with it, then you just add that to the projector. If that's the way you design systems, don't try and get into minutia. Remember, it's your first meeting. If you're going to start engineering in the field, you're going to lose time and money. You're not going to close the deal. You should have already compensated for that. If I have a projector system like this, everything's in there. You're talking about back-end parts. I don't show those. I don't track that. That's done somewhere else. That's done in QuickBooks, done in TirePal, something else. Okay, you guys, so keep that in mind. This is not supposed to be your accounting software. This is your sales software. It's something the customer can see. You can send your sales guy out in the field. You're not giving them access to your entire back end, your entire operation, where everything you do is listed out for your sales guy to share with somebody else in the field. This is about what we sell. We bundle it up, make it easy for the customer. Once the customer signs off, we take it back to the office and we tweak it. Now, a good example of what happens is we just sold this new Sony TV. It was a 70-inch. We get back to the office and it's already out of date. We've been selling for the last 2 weeks. They just changed up models. So now we have the price point. When we were selling got discontinued, and they're still in stock, but they dropped by $4,000 or whatever, $200 or whatever it is. So then you go and say, well, you know what? The brand new model is a little bit more, but you, Mr. Customer, I'm going to give you this latest and greatest for the same price as that one. You know, my idea was I never gave money back. I'd rather give them a more expensive TV for a little less than give them a lot less, you know, give them back that unit and then give them a credit. So it was always better to keep the money. So we wanted to make this work. So now, guys, any questions on that at all? You can see where that works pretty well. So the whole balance thing, this isn't supposed to be that level of detail. In your very first meeting, what you really want is this number. You've talked to your client, you've set them up, you got them going. Let me show you something else here now. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to my security life safety. I'm going to sell them a security system. Maybe I'm not just doing security. So I'm not selling home theater, AV, or anything else. I'm just selling a security system. And I'm going to put in front door contact. I'm going to put in a motion sensor. And I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to the kitchen. And I'm going to sell them another motion sensor. And I'm going to sell a couple more window contacts. And that's my whole system. I'm done now, right? So that's a real simple little system, but now I want to sell them recurring. Guys, and this is really important. When you sell someone recurring revenue, you want to make sure that you actually get this covered. So I'm going to go up and add in recurring. We're going to build this right now. So I'm going to go up here and go new system, and I'm going to call this new system monitoring. So there's monitoring. I'm going to go edit, and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to call this GSM. Okay, and I'm going to give it a price because this is just one thing. It's pretty much like programming. So I'm going to call it $45. So that fast I've set a price. So just by me doing that now, I've set the price. So you can now see it's $45 for that package. I'm going to add another package. I'm going to call this one video monitoring. Video monitoring. Okay, I'm going to go up there and give a price on this one of $65. Okay, you can see I'm very expensive, but now I need to set the state on both of these packages. This is what sets this apart from a regular package. When I set a state, it is no longer going to be added in to the regular contract. So I'm going to close out of this. Whoops, you know what? I want to go up there and add a nice image. We want to make sure people like this. So I'm going to go back into my system. I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to go to monitoring. I'm going to add in an icon. I'm going to go ahead and just grab one of our wireless accent point or the antennas, because really that's all monitoring is, right? Just kind of sending out a signal saying help, help. So as soon as this comes up, we'll add that in. And then we're going to set it up so that when this goes through the contract, so right there, I'm going to go up there and grab that. This one, I'm going to grab, oops, went too far, that. So there's my two monitoring. I'm going to grab an image. So I'm going to go into security. And you guys, all the stuff you're seeing here comes in our software. We're adding all of this in. So you guys can have access to all these different images. So let's see here. We have monitoring security and video. Nope, that's not the one I like. Let's see. I'm going to take that one. And then over here, I'm going to take this one. Actually, I think I have one just for, let me see here. I guess I'll go with that one. Okay, so now I have those two pictures. And if I scroll down here and I go to monitoring, I have GSM monitoring. I have a price. So guys, that fast, I built my monitoring. Now I'm going to show you what makes this different. It's no longer added into my contract. I go up to my reports, go create. I'm going to select all, client report. I'm going to take report 2. All of these reports are just different ways to see the same information. So now I have that report. I scroll down, there's everything I sold them, and there's my monitoring. So it's still in the contract, it's after the total, so this price isn't being added in. They're agreeing to pay this forever. They're going to sign up with me and they're going to pay that monitoring cost. So now all of your monitoring is broken out separately. When you send your sales guy or your installer out in the field to install it, you're going to use the field report. And this is one just for your installers. It has all the information with no pricing. So you can see here it shows a -1. We took that out, we put something else in. So they know that big theater package isn't going to include the touchscreen because you add in a remote control. They go down here and they see that we actually have monitoring. So everything looks pretty good. So you guys can see where it makes it very simple for your guys to know what to do in the field. Okay, questions so far? Because I think it's pretty straightforward. The main thing is on the back end here in the systems window, you simply need to decide what it is you're selling. If we build your data, you're going to be focused more on pricing it. Big picture, there's an 8-zone audio system, or there's just a premium controller, and you can decide how to break it up. Do you want to sell that as one system, or do you want to sell it as a controller and amplifiers? Do you want to sell lighting control as a main panel? Because we get everything from the enclosures to the modules, or we can do just the switches. You guys decide how you sell. And you can have different systems. You can have a Control 4 system and a Lutron Radio Raw system in the same data set, depending on the client. You don't have to just have one. You can have lots of options in your data sets. So you can go up there and just say, well, I'm going to sell this today, but not that. So you guys, it's all very simple. So questions? Let's see here. Okay, monitoring cost was in the installer copy. Can that be removed? Yes, that's one of the things I'm fixing today. So that should have been removed already. Someone will be beaten and burned later for doing that. That was supposed to already be out. Yeah, so we won't be showing any pricing. The install report will have no pricing whatsoever. So that's getting fixed right now. So just lots of new things we're adding in. So the field reports, there'll be client reports, which are basically for the client to look at. Field reports will be for your install staff or people in the field. Staff reports will be for in the office. Maybe you want to generate a report for the customer. So, okay, let's see what else we have here. What data sets are included and how much extra custom data sets cost? The way we're working out the custom data sets is we actually are going to make it into a monthly service. We were charging for big custom data sets. It was costing thousands of dollars, but then we could build it and 2 months later it was out of date. So instead we've gone to a model of $40 a month. You send us your price list, we build the data. So if you're doing RTI, you're doing Control 4, whatever it is, we probably already have a lot of it, but if we don't, you send us the price list and we're going to build the big ticket items. If we do any smaller accessories, we're just going to put a generic image on them, but for the big ticket items, we're going to build it out. We're going to give you some really nice information. So a good example here is, I'm going to go up to some of the new product images we're working on, and if I go to Honeywell, you can see we have new images for a lot of the Honeywell product. So we're building stuff every day. So there's new Honeywell. Okay, guys, so we're trying to build this stuff out, and as new things come out, we're trying to maintain it for you. Because that's the problem with data. Data is like fruit. It goes bad. So right here is a nice little door contact. So you can see we're updating all this stuff to give you the ability to go through and say, well, I need this. You send us the price list, and we're looking for a manufacturer price list. I'm not looking for an output from a QuickBooks or anything else, because it's not the manufacturer's price list. For us to do this effectively and get it done quickly for you, we need good information. You know the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. So we're trying to get things that really do work. So if I go up here to True Audio, we have lots of True Audio stuff that we just built out. They're one of our manufacturer partners. They paid us to create all their data. So we're putting all this stuff together for their product lines. So we're going to brand them, make sure you have everything they sell in here. So it's going to make it easier. We have Bose, we have Epson, we have Screen Innovations. Those are some of our manufacturer partners. For non-manufacturer partners, we're going to build it out, but it won't be as complete or it won't be branded. We're trying to make it easier for you guys. Okay, let me just go through. I'm trying to get some of this done. So you guys saw $40 a month. There's a $200 setup fee, and then we build that data and maintain it. So it'll be in addition to the $29.95, your normal cost for the first 5 users. But if you think about it, 40 bucks, you're going to spend a lot more time than that trying to build this stuff out. So hopefully that helps you. You see here, do we have access to all of those data sets that are already built? Yes, the software will come with those. And let me show you guys something. So when you go into Salez Toolz, and if you go up here to the Salez Toolz data store, we're going to be releasing next week. I'm going to go up here to the matrix. So the Salez Toolz data store is going to have all of these different manufacturers. So you're going to have Epson, you're going to have True Audio, you're going to have all these manufacturers, and they're free for you. If you're one of our subscribers paying the standard $29.95 a month, everything that's been paid for by the manufacturer is free to you. We also put out certain products just because we want you to have them. So we're going to make Crestron available. We're going to make a number of manufacturers available at no charge. They're going to be limited data sets, but they'll be available to give you guys a good starting point. Structured wiring will be free. A lot of different security devices will be free. GE Networks is free, but that includes all the door contacts, window contacts, multi-detectors. Those are built in, so you don't have to pay any extra for that. We want you guys to have as much as we can. I want you to have a really good starting point so you could take our software on day one and start using it. So hopefully that helps. And those will be available from the Salez Toolz Matrix data store right here. So when you click on the data store, that shows you what you have. So questions on that? Nope. You guys, so hopefully that helps. We wanted to make that simple for you. And you let us know if as new stuff comes out, we're going to be posting it on the matrix. So if we come out, the very first folder on the Salez Toolz data store is going to be new products. In that folder, for the first 30 days that we release something, it's going to be sitting in there. So if you get around to checking that once a month, you'll see what's come out that month. And then as it goes back, it'll be pushed into other folders. So it's still going to be available. It just won't be in the new folder. So there'll be a folder for Epson, for Crestron, for Control 4, for True Audio. They'll always be available to you at no charge. If you sign up for our data service, then you have additional folders available to you with more products, and you have the ability to send us price lists and we'll build your data. We said, you guys, what we've really found is this has been the biggest hang up with every software. It's the data. And for us to have a team of people that do graphics, that do layout, and the people that are doing our data have had their own businesses for years. We've hired people from in the industry who are just like you, who are building this data. They have relationships with the manufacturers, and they've done your job. They're just like us, you guys. They want this done right. They want you to have a good product. So we're trying to take this over because I can spread the cost out over our thousands of users and make it cheap. If I was doing this in-house, it would cost me thousands of dollars to do it for myself. But because I'm doing this for a lot of you guys, I can keep it very affordable. For 40 bucks a month, it's not just one big pit with old data. We're going to take the old stuff out as it gets old and turn it into what we call legacy. You'll have access to the old stuff, but we're keeping the new stuff in the front. You guys should be able to get current, new, updated graphics, pricing, product information as it comes out. That's going to be dependent on you guys feeding us that data because we don't have the relationship with all these manufacturers, and some I may not even know about. We do a lot in security. We do a lot in audio video. We do a lot in HVAC. We're coming out with new stuff all the time. We have teams here that's all they do is build data. So hopefully you guys won't have to. You may still have to put in your pricing, but I'll tell you, if we're putting in retail, we're putting in labor and programming, it's easy for you guys to modify it. You don't have to think it up from scratch. You can just go, oh, what does that speaker include? Well, I figured on the price of a bracket, I figured on this much wire, and I figured on some connectors and a termination point at the other end. I put this much labor on it. And we will show you guys how we figure that out. We have a whole spreadsheet that we've built. And I probably shouldn't show you guys this, but I'll give you a little tease here at the end. Something that we have been working on for quite a while. That's going to be the data template that we use internally for us to build our data. So what we do is, this isn't just some wild pie in the sky. I go through and I figure out how much labor at trim. What's my cost on that labor at trim? So I'm trying to figure out what's the profit margin on this. What you end up seeing is just this. I don't show you guys this back here, right? But I did this based on these settings. Eventually, we're going to be able to create profiles for our dealers. So we're going to have your labor rates in that built in. So we're working on that right now. But what you are only going to see is that column and this column. Just keep in mind, I'm working the whole back end. I'm trying to figure out your markup. And as we move forward on this, we're going to start to expose this to you to take advantage of. So there's my parts. That's how much the equipment is. I got this many parts that cost, rough end, trim, final. So you can see we're trying to figure all this stuff out. But again, the only thing you're going to see are these columns in gray. That is Salez Toolz. This is the stuff that goes into the program. Just be aware in the back end as we're this data for you, we're thinking all this through. We're not just making a guess at this. I've been doing this for 30 years. And I tend to be a little expensive. So I'm hoping I can keep the price up so that you guys can bring down to fit you. But I don't want you to lose money. I want to think this through and make sure we're putting in good information. So questions on that? Well, you guys, I want to thank you all for showing up today. Hopefully this helped. And Mindy, again, because Stephen just kind of dropped you in the mix here, be aware you can call us up at any time for free training. I'll jump online with you. I'll walk you through it. I'll help you to build the first few packages so that you fully understand this. I understand that Stephen's really busy. So you guys, that's true of everybody. If you're paying monthly, all your training is free, all your tech support is free. We want you guys to succeed. That's our job. If you do well, you stay in business, you keep paying me money. So it serves me to help you. I want everybody here to basically think of us as being part of your team. So again, you guys, I want to thank you all for showing up today. Are there any other questions at all before we jump out? Anybody at all? None of you guys seem very shy, so well, I want to thank you all for showing up. Looks like we had a good attendance, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you much. You know what? One more thing, guys, I guess as long as we're here. Oh, Bentley, there you are. Very good. And Bentley, thank you. I'm glad you showed up today, you guys. I'm going to open up some of the attendee microphones. Probably nobody will talk. No one ever does. You don't write, you don't call. But I'm opening up all the microphones right now. So I can hear somebody, but you guys have to talk. But does anybody have a question? Feel free to ask. Is there anything that you want to know about? You want to know about the data. You want to know about the images. You want to know about new features, new reports. We have a lot of stuff coming up, you guys, and we're working as fast as we can to get this out there. We just entered in the new Control4 Pack Edge, Control4 Bot Pack Edge. So we've just entered in all the Pack Edge stuff and doing the graphics. That'll be out next week. We are working on Luxo right now. So we're trying to get as much of this stuff in there as we can. We're trying to use the things that you guys use. We're working on RTI. And we're trying to create all these great new images. We want this to be something that is not just for you guys, it's for your customer. Your customer should know what you're selling. They're more likely to buy it if they do. So again, you guys, I want to thank you all for showing up today. You have a great day and a great weekend. And good afternoon.